Let's talk about these patch notes. So I'm assuming this is our last big patch until January. They're gonna go on vacation in like 5 days. I can't see us getting any new content in Smite 2 until mid-January. That means that depending on how impactful this patch is on the game, there might not be much Smite 2 to really grind. Like there's gonna be stuff to play, new gods, come out with this, so that's gonna be there to play for a couple days. But overall, hopefully there's big changes. I will say I did the video yesterday where I went over Bobby's video where he was talking about like the game, what it needs, this and that. They asked us to do write-ups for them. Thank you, to let them know like the top 5 things that we want to see fixed in Smite 2. So my things were the gameplay and the objectives just being too easy, not being an event. There's no real fight. There's no mechanics to the fight. There's no anything. It's just a quick kill. The buffs around the objectives suck as well. So like you do fire, is it really that big a deal? You do gold, is it really that big a deal? I want it to be like an event in the game when everyone goes to do the gold or the fire, like it being a big deal. My second thing was the map, it feeling way too small. Left to right rotations, the portals, all this stuff makes the map just too easy to move around on. Active items not being fun, not having massive impacts, not being power spikes, finishing big active items. I don't like that. I think that should be changed. I hate that there's no end game progression. That was my fourth thing. 3k pot is not enough. At 30 minutes you get 3k pot, then you play another 20 minutes in a 50-minute game, you get no new items. It feels like shit. My last thing was that the game was just too easy. That mechanics and hitting autos and hitting abilities and decision making is less impactful. So the game is too easy right now. So with that said, let's go to these patch notes. I doubt they affect those things because like I said, I just sent that over today. Most of us did recently. So hopefully that's what we see come January. I think they'll delay free-to-play release. No, they need to get more players on the game. That's a huge problem right now. That is the #1 issue for Smite 2 right now, is getting more people to play the game. They need numbers to fix matchmaking, to get more feedback, to enhance the game. The god pool is about to be at 50. Like, what will be at 40, 41, right? After the ones tomorrow. And then we'll get another, or 40, right? I don't know, we're somewhere around there. Then we'll get another 10, 5 in January, 5 end of January, and beginning of February. The god pool is fine. It's the game that needs to change, and we need players to make sure the game is changing for the better. Conquest changes, Warhorn no longer buffs minions. Nice! That's huge, actually. Fixed percentage P, damage abilities dealing too much. Okay, so Aphrodite's coming out. I did a video covering her. You can go check that out. Medusa was in the same video, and Pele's in the same video. I do believe that Aphro's healing is going to be OP, and her immunity is going to be OP because of lack of actives in the game. So I think Aphro is going to be a priority pick to save teammates and herself. I think Medusa's +1s and Pele's +1s, that's like the additions they made to the gods, I don't think are that big of a deal. I do think Pele, given the right numbers, will pump and should do a ton of damage. Medusa feels weird. She didn't feel like an ability hunter when I played her, and I feel like her kit doesn't reflect an auto attack hunter. So we'll see how she fits in the meta. What's up, Lucky? God balance in CA5, we increased all gods health per level stat by 15%. We are now reverting a portion of the nerf, which would equate to gods having only 10% greater health per level. So gods got, instead of, well, they lost 5% of their health per level now. God classes are slightly more spread out stat-wise, not nearly to the same extent Smite 1 is, but greater than in previous Smite 2. This adjustment does not include the attack speed stat. Nice. All right, so Anubis, decreased stun duration by 0.2 seconds. I don't like that. Death Gaze nerfed again. Why is Anubis getting perma-nerfed? I genuinely don't feel like Anubis is that OP, but maybe I'm just missing something. Baron, these nerfs need to happen. So the percent scaling heal from cooldown. So the heal on Baron heals more if you have more cooldown. They nerf the amount it scales up by. So it doesn't heal as much if you have a lot of cooldown. Wrap it up. Increase cooldown from 16 to 14 to 16 in all ranks. Nice. Life the party. Decrease hysteria applied per tick. 5 to 2, increase cooldown. Okay. Tanuki trickery added 55% strength damage scaling to the buffed basic attack after transforming. Decrease the cooldown by 2 seconds. At all right. Okay. Hercules increased damage scaling by 5% on the 1. Increase damage, base damage by 5. Mitigate wounds, increase attack speed by 5%. Interesting. Loki vanish, decrease damage scaling from 15% to 10%. Flurry strike, increase the cooldown. The nerf to Loki. Mordred buff, increase buff / debuff duration on Blood Rage from 4 to 6. Hard slash, remove self slow. Oh, this is huge. This is actually massive. So this is the mini ult, the smaller ult, and now you won't be slowed. So it's really big. Anubis has one of the highest win rates right now. Really? I guess shitter games, bro. Nua, nerf. Wait, shift. Mysterious Fog. Decrease the buff duration from 5 to 4 seconds. Decrease soldier health scaling from 25% of Nua's max health to 20. Shiny Metal. Decrease the cooldown. All right, high res. Nua is one of the top 3, if not number 1, most annoying and easy gods right now. You spam the 1. It has no cooldown. I don't care about the 5% health scaling on Nua minion. She's still slamming for 1600 with her full combo with a 2-3. And you're reducing the cooldown so she can spam the 3 more. I'm not. This is dumb. This should have said Nua nerf. This should have been an increase in cooldown. This is fine, but maybe an increase in cooldown on this. And then this is fine. Nua has a 60% win rate? Nua does? Okay. And we're shifting Nua instead of nerfing Nua with a 60% win rate. That makes sense. She needs, yeah, she does need to be gutted. She is stupid right now. Now, apparently they're nerfing cooldown items, so maybe that impacts her a lot, but we'll see. We have to see that in the game. I don't know. Poseidon nerf, Trident, increase cooldown from 10 to 15 seconds. That's what it should have been. Whirlpool, increase cooldown from 10 to 15 down to 11. I like these changes. Subeg nerf, Charge Prey, increase cooldown. 16 at all ranks. Good. Susano buff? I think Susano's just not being played because he's boring. Typhoon knocks up higher now, and Storm's Edge has a longer buff debuff duration on the 1. The Morrigan, Dark Omen, decrease initial damage. 165, 50% scaling to 160, 45% scaling. Same with Mark. And then minion damage is decreased by 10, so her clear is a little worse. Decrease shield health scaling from 5% max health to 3%. They nerf Umoja. Zeus Chain Lightning nerf, now that they fixed it, 10% scaling. New items. Now, I saw this item when I was going over Medusa and Pele. So there's a new bow, 2,300 gold. What's up, big babaloo? I don't know yet. I don't know if it's a dub patch. I don't know. 300. So this item has 300 HP, 30% attack speed, and the active is you mark an allied god for 10 seconds. Each basic attack that hits an enemy heals the marked god for 2% of your max health. Once per basic attack. Okay, so if you had what takes out like 4k HP, right? Like a full built tank, like 4k HP, I think. So you're talking maybe like 3,500, but probably 4k. So you're talking like an 80 heal every time you auto. Now, if you're crazy attack speeded up and you do a 4k HP, this might actually be kind of crazy. The reason I don't like this, you can't mark yourself. I think that would definitely make this item good, but because you can't mark yourself, outside of solo laners, I don't think any supports are going to go this item because they're not going to be able to attack speed. Solo laners will, and this item might be busted for a solo laner to keep like their fellow diver alive. Like, you know, the Soul in the Jungle dives, so you put it on him. Or maybe if you're, I don't know, just someone else is around. I don't know how you're going to engage as a solo laner, mark your carry in the back, and it impact the game. I don't know. Support Umoja does not auto attack people fast. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe if you land every auto with this being your only attack speed item on Umoja, you're healing for like 1 auto a second, right? So you're maybe you end up getting 11 autos in, so you're like 880 HP, anti-healed, probably a lot. So you're talking more like 300 healing. I don't know. And then you're taking up a slot that is worthless to Umoja. That's the problem. This is a worthless fucking item for anybody who isn't using this to do damage. I have a strong feeling that this will be like an Ama item and it'll be more gimmicky than good, but eventually it'll be good once stats change on shit or gods get put in the game. Somebody in my YouTube comments like, you're wrong. This is going to be really good on like Aphrodite and Umoja. If there's an Aphro in the game, they will be 100% anti-heal in the game. So this becomes less valuable. Kind of the same for Umoja. So I'm not sold on that, but we'll see. Rod of Asclepius is being transferred over. 2450 gold, 50 int, 300 HP, 3 health regen, allies within 8.8 meters have 15% increased healing. Active, remove and prevent all. Okay, this is a problem. This is a really big problem. So what you're going to see from this, with Aphrodite being put in the game, and even with gods like Umoja, they're gonna put the shroom down. I think it's healing for 20% now, right? I know it was nerfed. I think it was only nerfed to 20%. So an Aphrodite or whatever healer is going to be able to pop this throw their 3, drop the shroom, and ult you. So you're going to take no damage. You're going to get all debuffs removed that way. You're not going to be anti-healed. Full health. And even if you paired this correctly, if you use the ult to save your teammate, had him come back to you because you kept him alive, and then you did this. You popped the active, you threw the shroom on the ground, you 3'd him. This is a full health heal on whoever is around who's able to get the healing. Rod of D's, bro. Rod of Ass Clappius. This is the most insane version of this item we've ever seen. By far. This is obviously going to take more skill than people realize, and this will probably be a later item that you're building once you realize the other team does have full anti-heal. And like shitters are not going to like min-max this, but the potential of removing everyone's anti-heal, dropping your shroom, and healing somebody to full is real. It is completely real. Oh, there's 3 new items. Great. Shield Splitter. You know what I just thought about? What if this is actually used by a hunter to keep a tank alive? Remove and prevent all anti-heal for 3 seconds. So yeah, you're immune to being anti-healed and everything's removed for 3 seconds. So you're going to get full healed. This item, like a hunter right now with no items, without this, I think this is 20. With this item, I think a hunter has 2,800 HP, right? They're reducing it a little bit. So let's say 2,500. So you're going to heal for like 50 an auto-ish, maybe a little less, maybe, you know, 40 to 50 an auto. But if you're autoing 3 times a second and landing them, that's 150 HP a second for 10 seconds. And say in a perfect world, you land every auto, right? That's a fuck ton of HP. Like as soon as you hit that 1,000 mark threshold, that's a lot of potential HP. So maybe in some weird world, because of the amount of attack speed on this item, you throw it on a hunter and you just hunter buffs the solo laner never dies, or hunter buffs the support never dies. Maybe could be cool idea. I like the idea of more unique active items, so I'm not mad about like seeing where this goes at all. Like I'm not like, why would they do this? Completely just a weird item. All right, Shield Splitter, 2,600 gold. Of course it's hybrid, 40 strength, 25 of each prop. Throw a Shield Splitter 8.8 meters in front of you, dealing damage to the first enemy god hit. If they have a shield, it is reduced by 50% and you gain a shield equal to the amount reduced. Aren't people just gonna build this for the damage? I don't like this. To me is irrelevant. Aren't they like they're just gonna go this for the 240 true damage on a 15-second cooldown. What the fuck are you smoking? What the fuck? This is 240 damage every 15 seconds. What? Like obviously that's at max level. So let's say it's 140 damage because level 10 and you're spamming this and you're getting fucking 4 of them off a minute. Bro, like what? What? I don't understand this. I genuinely don't understand this. And you know what I bet? I bet you fucking money this acts as an ability and proc shit. I bet you fucking cold hard doll hairs that this shit procs any active, it's gonna apply red buff. Like, bro, throw your solo laner red buff with this and the other person doesn't get to play the game. Yeah, this is a first item solo spam. This is crazy. This is crazy. I don't like this at all. I don't like this part. This is all weird as well. Like literally this whole sentence doesn't even matter. You could take this whole sentence out and this item is being built all day. I don't understand. It's got 40 strength on it, bro. Like this is a fuck ton of strength. This is like a top strength item. Like I'm going this in the jungle every game. I'm going this every single game in the jungle. And 2,600 gold isn't really cheap, but it's not expensive. This shouldn't be released like this. This should 100% not be released like this. This is terrible. This should be like 10 strength or 20 tops. This is more than most strength items. Why? Well, I don't want to build hybrid, but I'm gonna go this. And then if I go this, I'm probably going into like Glad Shield or something else because that has so much cooldown, unless they remove all the cooldown from that item. It's not that it's 140 damage or whatever. It's that it's on a 15-second cooldown. Like, this is not a significant amount of damage, right? This is not a crazy amount of damage. But on a 15-second cooldown, it becomes very fucking annoying. It's an extra little ability you get to throw at somebody over and over and over and over again. And it's dumb because these stats are insane. What's up, Grass? Thank you, bro. Like, these stats are nuts to me. Absolutely crazy. This is crazy. I don't know. Whatever. Item balance. They removed 5 cooldown off of the ring. Bracer. Adjust recipe. We don't care about that. Remove. Oh, they took cooldown off of Bracer. Passive now triggers on basic attacks in addition to abilities. Decrease basic attack damage per stack 15 to 10. Increase stack count from 4 to 6. So you have to auto 2 more times to get max damage than you did before. And you lost cooldown. No one's going to build this item anymore. You just killed it. Oh my god, this is fucked. This is fucked. So they buffed Breastplate of Valor. It's 200 gold cheaper and has 4 more prots. It still has 20% cooldown, and then the passive is fucking nuts. Like, the passive is super underrated. I don't know what's going on here. Chronos Pendant is 100 gold cheaper, lost 10, so it still has the same cooldown, but you're losing power. Conduit Gem nerf now deals half damage to gods on its true damage proc, reduced mana regen, so Conduit Gem is still strong as fuck. Emma Focus loses 5 cooldown, that's it. Genji's loses 10 cooldown, but reduced by 250 gold. Glad Shield loses 10 cooldown, and passive nerf by 5%. Still a good item. Surprised this isn't a 15. Hasten, more gold, decrease basic attack movement penalty, decrease. Okay. All right, they might have finally killed this item. They might have killed this item. Now my problem with this is when they apply some junglers, like a movement needing auto attack junglers, Kali type shit. This is 75% because I think this is 3 stacks now, right? This is not gonna be good enough. Doesn't it max stack at 3? It's 3 stacks, so 75%, or it wasn't 100 basically. What's up, Ripster? I think we'll see less Fatalis, but I have to see how it feels in game first. Increase mana from 100 to 150. This is just because of the tier 2 change. Heartseeker sucks. Heartseeker sucks simply because of the pen you need and the other items you need. Heartseeker is not as good in Smite 2 as it was in Smite 1. Just because of the way they have the game set up, not because of the item. Helm of Darkness, using the active ability now grants the phantom effect to the owner. Is this walking through people or walking through player walls? This is player walls. So Odin's ult is very much, honestly, Ymir wall. Like, you're not gonna see this spammed, but if a Odin is winning a game for their team, the other team's gonna build this if they have to. Jotuns, 200 less gold for Jotuns. That is fucking wild. So you're gonna get your first item online even earlier. Phantom Shell buff, 20 seconds off. Pharaoh's Curse nerf, 100 more gold. Active slow reduced by 5%. Active attack speed slow reduced by 5%. This is good. This item is overtuned and on too short of a cooldown. Prophetic got a shift. Yeah, shift. 5 more prots of each, but the lost 5 cooldown. This item's still OP. Like, this is still a lot of cooldown. Sands of Time. Decrease cooldown rate from 5 to 10. That's the tier 1 starter. Decrease minion damage by 5. Mana regens up. Okay. Shield of the Phoenix. More prots, 5 more, 50 more HP. Decrease cooldown. Shogun's cheaper. Soul Gem nerf. Oh, the cooldown rate was reduced on Soul Gem. Okay. Son of Binding Shift. Way cheaper, but lost health. Interesting. Talisman of Purification nerf. This should be removed. This item's stats are insanely good, and then you give it beats. Like, this item is crazy. Cosmic Horror Shift. 5 more int, 50 more mana, 1 more regen, decrease cooldown by 10, decrease item intelligence threshold by 25 to get the extra fucking 10 or whatever. This is a buff in the long run because cooldown needed to be nerfed. So like this was a change coming, right? Like, I don't consider the cooldown nerfs. I consider them corrections. This is a fucking buff, 100%. Crusher Shift. Less gold, 10 more power, 5 cooldown. See, this is also a buff. This is good. These are really, I like these changes are good. Void Shield buff, increase protection reduction by 5%. Void Shield and Void Stone buffs. 15% pen aura. What's wild to me about these items is I also think these are criminally underrated, because if your solo or even a support goes these items and you're guaranteed going on the same target, then it makes it so your mid, your jungle, maybe even your ADC doesn't need to go an extra pen item. Like, this replaces potentially 3 people's items. So you open up an item slot for 3 people to trade off for an item that's like maybe not the best, but still really good. Bug fixes. Yeah, cool. All right. You know what's crazy? Where the fuck are the Thor buffs? How did we not get a new nerf into the ground and no Thor buffs? Thor sucks dick. You can't convince me otherwise. Thor is shit. Thor is ass. And Nuwa is completely busted. I don't even care. Those cooldown changes aren't going to make Nuwa bad. Thor balance. Okay. No, Thor's kit on paper makes it seem like he's good, and then you play him in the game, you're like, yeah, this is dog shit. You know why they You know why they didn't nerf Nuwa or buff Thor? It's because they're about to go on a month break, right? If they overbuff Thor right now, they'll just have people crying for the entire month. And if they over nerf Nuwa, they'll have the reverse, like everyone will be crying about that. It's 100% because they won't be able to hot fix the nerf changes or the buff changes to make people shut the fuck up. I like the patch overall, but it's lacking. It's not a big enough nerf, no buff to Thor. This item is fucking stupid. Our whole build is gonna change tomorrow in the jungle. Like, you're gonna be able to go into Jotuns and this and just be pumping while being tanky. With Thor, players are powerless against his combo. Well, that's not true. So we need to talk about something that I really stumbled upon last night. I posted it on my clip when I went live. Last night I was playing Ymir and I was going the Scepter of Domination or whatever, where you put the stasis field down where nobody can move, nobody can take damage in it, right? But on Ymir, I would stun, I would drop the field, so it would start channeling, I would 2, and then I would start charging my ult, and then the field would go off. And then the second, with that timing, as soon as the field went away, my ult went off, the person insta-died. Then the more I thought about it today, if everyone on your team went that item, or even not everybody, say 1 or 2 really smart players go that item, whoever gets engaged on, whoever's being targeted, should never fucking die. That item, you should drop that right on your teammate that gets engaged on every single time they get engaged on. Thor goes up in the air and you see his ult about to land, drop that shit. Thor doesn't get to play the game. Thor's ult's worthless. Reverse, Athena ult's about to land on somebody. Drop that fucking stasis field right on top of him, and guess what? The Athena ult's worthless. That's just what I was thinking about today. Thor's ult shows up the second you begin to land. In Smite 1, it shows up 0.3 seconds before you land. If you are getting hit by Thor ults consistently, it's because you're fucking dog shit and your reaction time is just beyond dwindled down to nothing. It's embarrassing. Thor's ult harder to hit. His 1 is super inconsistent, and his passive is pretty much non-existent from the 3 and the ult. That little extra chain damage is dog shit. This item literally does more than his whole fucking extra passive addition that they did every time. Nem ult's impactful, 100%. It's probably your build, to be honest. Thor hammer should not deal 90% of players' HP. It does not. So here's your other problem about Thor, and what a lot of people don't even pay attention to. Thor power spikes at between level 10 and 12, because level 10 and 12 you've maxed out your 1 and your 3. From level 10 and 12 on, you do not scale up in damage. It's all item based scaling, so your damage isn't scaling at the same rate for the rest of the game. A 1 from a Thor is not doing 90% of your health. Also, the second a Thor 2 1s you, everybody should jump on top of him and insta kill him, because he has nowhere to fucking go. Not understanding the counterplay to a god does not make the god OP. It means you need to up your knowledge. It depends, Spartan. It depends on what you're building. It depends on like your levels. Now, Nemesis ult isn't as OP as it was early Smite 1. But Nemesis also really didn't get major buff. Like, that AoE ult is cool, but it's not crazy. Nem plays the exact same style. Barely got tweaked. Barely saw fucking like an increase in the way she plays. What was the item called? It's like Scepter of Domination or something. I'm gonna use it tonight. I'll show you. Nem is very boring, and I preached to them that Nem would be boring if all they did was buff the ult. I was like, please don't worry about the ult and worry about the 1 being super boring, because your 2 is not gonna change. Your 2 is gonna be boring no matter what. It's the core ability on Nemesis, and then the 3 is not gonna be fun no matter what. It's a shield. The 1 they could have made fun. Scepter of Dominion. There you go. Scepter of Dominion. Nem's +1 in Smite 2 is you have an AoE ult. A small AoE ult. Like, if people are piled up, you know, like almost touching shoulders, it'll hit everyone within that person you're hitting, that first person you're hitting. I asked for Nem. My advice was to make Nem dash like old rat dash. Same size Nem's dash currently is, but if you dash through a different person every time, you can keep resetting it. So like up to 5. Like, you hit the first person, you go to this person number 2, go to person number 3, person number 4, person number 5, you're out of dashes. Like, you get 2 dashes, you get the 1 dash, you dash a person, and then you have another dash, and if that second dash hits a different person, it resets. But then once you've gone through all 5 people, it's done. Yeah, Nem got a +0.5. Less than that, bro. What's up in Praxis? You don't see a reason to play Nem over Thanatos? Well, Nemesis should beat Thanatos in a 1v1 scenario, but I do think Thanatos is very good. Whose nerf does nothing? No, this will still be good. His nerf is more to make the 1 not feel as crazy, and it'll definitely make you'll feel it a little bit, but it won't be crazy. The big thing about Thanatos is the execute. Thanatos' execute is more valuable in Smite 2 than it was in Smite 1. But people suck dick at the game right now, so you can't really rely on any teammates. Spartan, I don't know what that dot would be. But yeah, that's the patch notes. That's what I'm thinking, I'm looking at. I'm interested to see how some of this stuff plays out. I'm really interested if I'm right about this item being busted. This is just gonna make Aphro OP. And I'm interested to see if anybody makes this viable. Who's winning this patch? Well, anyone who relies on Bracer is taking an L. Anyone who wants more power and doesn't need the max cooldown is getting a W as well. Because we're losing, like overall, a lot of builds are probably gonna lose 10 to 20 cooldown rate. But they're gonna gain damage. So those characters, like, I'm thinking a lot of big damage mages, a lot of big damage junglers are gonna see W's. Hunters are seeing a slight, like this is a W by the way, but hunters are getting nerfed a little bit. No more relying on Fatalis. I think tanks are gonna be a menace still, bro. Who else? I don't know if any god buffs were crazy. For being real, I don't think any god buffs or nerfs were like, oh my gosh, like at all. This is a nice one, but Mordred still sucks. Mordred's just a weak god, but this is a really good quality of life change. It is weakness day 9, brother. Honor Cupid supports with Dagger Frenzy. Okay, so my problem is Honor Cupid are not support gods. And you can say, well, what about their kit? Okay, it's not about their kit. It's about their kit versus real support kits. Honor support in a game versus Sobek. Same skilled player on both gods. That Sobek ruins the other team. That Honor doesn't do shit. Same with Cupid versus Sobek. Khepri versus Cupid. Khepri versus Honor. Like, those gods don't have the same impact. They can be played, and don't get me wrong, they're probably fun to support on once you played supports a bunch, like you want to play different gods. I fully get that. But in a real, like you're trying to win every game, nah, not the play. The problem is when people want to start running weird stuff in weird roles, you don't change your mindset to like that full god running that role. So like you put Honor in support, and Honor has 1 damaging ability. Your 3's damage is irrelevant in the first place. And yeah, you might be using that for an initiation, but really you have 1 damage ability or 2, right? Versus Sobek, who has 3 damaging abilities and then an ult that executes. Versus a Khepri. Khepri actually fucking slams with his damage. It's ridiculous. So going from having to auto attack for damage to actually having pretty solid base numbers on these gods, like Bacchus damage is crazy. With only, well, he has 3 damage abilities. His 1 buffs his autos, but it's not the same. It's just not the same. Tanks OP always. Brady, thank you for the 92 months. All right, so